This is the Sunny Side Up podcast.
Hello and welcome to Sunny Side Up, episode 5. I'm Brandon.
I'm Angel.
And I'm Alan. Coming up this week, we're going to talk about a sealed Nintendo copy of a video game that's just mondo expensive.
Mondo.
Your performance increase at work and at play, stuff like that. And a Make-A-Wish story that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so it's going to be a good episode of Sunny Side Up. Thank you for joining us. Later on, we got to talk about this too. We have our first guest on the After the Podcast show. So if you're not on YouTube, definitely this week you want to tune in because our very first guest, Destiny Huntsberger, Angel's sister, will be joining us, kind of talking about some things in her life that's going on. And yeah, so
that's after the podcast.
After the podcast
yes. on YouTube
so if you're listening on any of your podcasting apps, make sure that you do this time. Definitely go to YouTube and check out episode 5 for after the podcast.
You know, you can hear the Sunny Side Up podcast on Spreaker, on iHeartMedia, on every platform, all of them, from the Google Play Store to Apple to everything, including the YouTube channel. But a lot of people don't have time to watch the YouTube, and they listen, and they're going, okay, but how can I hear it? Because I'm driving down the road listening to it. And share it, like it, and share it some more.
Yes.
Yep. That is the way to do it.
Yeah.
And so welcome. Well, I guess we should get started here.
Yes, we should, Brandon.
So, heartfelt story first. Make-A-Wish home run kid. Mm-hmm. I mean, you know the story more than I do.
So here's what happened. A couple of weeks ago, Red Sox heavy hitter ended up making a wish to come true. Mookie Betts, the guy's name, he's the right fielder, heavy hitter, home run hitter for the Boston Red Sox. They were playing the Yankees. It was last week, a couple of weeks ago. And he met this kid, Nico, before the game. Nico's wish was to meet the Boston Red Sox, and especially Mookie, because it was like his hero. He's got Mookie's picture all over his bedroom, and, he's a sports fan. Mookie's like, I think 10 maybe, but he has a rare disease, spinal muscular atrophy, a genetic disease that affects the motor neurons, and essentially you just can't do simple tasks like pick up a pen or sit up straight and talk into a microphone like we do doing Sunnyside.
Yeah.
So that was his wish, and he got the wish. He got to actually go to see the Boston Red Sox. They hung out in the stadium and in the locker room, and he met each player one by one, and finally got to meet Mookie. And Mookie sat down and started talking to Nico, and Nico goes, I just wanted to say hi to you. Mookie goes, how about I hit a home run for you? And Nico goes, well, home runs are great, but you ever try to hit a home run, Angel?
No.
They're hard, especially in the major leagues playing against the Yankees when you're in the Red Sox. So Nico was like, no, you don't have to do that for me, Mookie. I just wanted to meet you and say hi. Mookie goes, no, I'll hit a home run for you. So he goes out and hits a home run.
Yeah.
Nico freaks out.
Right.
And then he comes back to round the batting order again and hits another home run.
That's amazing.
Nico freaks
Crazy.
out.
Right.
And then he comes back around on the batting order again and hits a third home run. He did all 3 home runs in the first 4 innings of the freaking game.
That's insane.
It is crazy.
That's a true Make-A-Wish story.
Yeah.
That's very neat and good for him. That's really an amazing story. And I always love the Make-A-Wish stories. You know, there's a lot of good ones out there. So the kiddos that are in need and
Make-A-Wish does a lot of really great things.
Yep. So it's a great company. Love them. Can't get enough. Yeah, choking on water.
Choking up on my coffee.
Oh, drinking coffee today. We've upgraded.
But it actually changed Mookie's perspective on the whole game because Mookie got injured the next day. They were playing in a game and actually got hurt playing against Kansas City.
That's not good.
Tore something in his tendon or something in his foot. Yeah. So
it's always it's amazing to me to see. You know, when a star like that can really just, you know, I don't want to say set straight, but more like it's down to earth sort of deal, and make even more down to earth to meet those kids, and just great that
a lot of YouTubers do it.
Yeah,
like Shane Dawson, a lot of Make-A-Wish kids come see him, and he keeps in contact with all of them. He continues to talk to them after he meets them, which I think is really cool.
Well, you guys know, nobody knows this on our channel, but we do a local Make-A-Wish fundraiser here in our hometown on the radio stations, and they do the same thing. The kids plug in, and they contact us, and they're like, okay, when's the next Make-A-Wish fundraiser? We want to help. And it's the Make-A-Wish families that end up doing all the work, the footwork to help out. It's crazy.
It's very neat.
So anyway, yeah.
It's a giving community. I like it. So performance increases when given advice. Tell me about
this.
That.
This is cool, and this kind of plugs into what we do with Sunny Side Up. It turns out they did a study among high school kids who were good kids, just kind of mediocre in their grade performance. Just kind of, skating through.
Middle of the line.
Yeah.
Living day to day. And they gave him a task of going, okay, well, Angel, you're good at painting. She painted the Sunny Side Up logo on her backdrop for the YouTube channel. And they'll tell you, why don't you teach these other kids how to paint like you paint?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Or Brandon, you're good at, what is he good at?
Oh,
what is
nothing.
he good at?
I'm not good at anything.
Hard to know.
Yeah.
Well, whatever it is you're good at.
Dirt bikes.
Sure, we'll go with dirt bikes.
I'm teasing. He plays guitar like a
guitar
monster.
stuff.
So
for sure.
so you shred a guitar really well. So it'd be
Yes.
like going and teaching somebody else to play the guitar. In teaching them how to do a task, you actually kind of have to study yourself because you're going to go, okay, I'm going to teach this person how to do this.
Oh, yeah.
I got to learn this so I can show them. And what it ends up doing is it increases your performance. And every single case, these grades, the kids went up in the grades.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
Their just lackluster performance went from lackluster to kind of star performers in their classroom.
Right. And that's,
they
it's
talk
a given.
about that, and when you're going to school to become a teacher, they tell you to have your students teach each other, have them show how to do problems to each other, because it does help them learn.
It's always
because
super helpful.
they have to really learn it to be able to show somebody else how to do it properly.
I agree. I couldn't agree more on that. And it seems like anything my entire life that I've tried to teach somebody, whether it be the guitar thing, the motocross thing, computers, for example, you start learning more when you start putting your hands onto it, too.
Yeah.
You think you know those things, and then you discover, well, there's another thing I didn't know, and now you can teach
Until
this
you
person
have to
that as
fully
well.
explain it to somebody who has no idea what's going on.
It's insane
with
because your brain translates it one way in your thoughts, and then when it comes to pen and paper or with your hands, it's different. It's hard to do it. If you have a skill, a certain skill set that you want to teach somebody, you're just like, well, just do it. I'm sure everybody's experienced that. But you have to realize to take the time to explain it, and then it helps you in the end as well.
You have to really break it down.
It's a valid point. I believe that when you give someone advice and helping them teach them, it increases your performance on this certain subject as well.
Have you ever shown somebody how to do something or advised them on something, and they turn around and they go, well, I thought it would be a good idea to do it this way.
Yeah.
And then you end up
learn
learning
an easier
something.
way to do it.
So-
Seen that way too.
And the cool thing is the study showed that not only does it help kids, it turns out that adults are helped by it too. So it's actually across the age spectrum, it helps them out.
Right.
So
I think it's a good deal. So okay, so I'm excited about this one. I think this is a neat one, and I know the game that it was because I read this story just a few days ago too.
Here, you read it because
okay, sure.
you're all over this. He's ate up by
got
it.
So video games. I mean, as you've probably
We
figured
seem
out
to
by
talk about a
5
lot.
episodes.
Yeah.
We talk about cows here on the Sunny Side Up podcast and
Video
games.
games.
I have a question. Are there cows in Minecraft?
Yes, there's cows in Minecraft.
So are there emotional support cows in Minecraft?
Probably.
Oh,
There should
yeah,
be.
sure. Sure there is. So, okay, there's a certain game for the original Nintendo. And it seems like original Nintendo games, you've got your Legend of Zelda, the very first original one.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Super Mario, the original Super Mario on Nintendo.
Sure.
One of the greatest.
There's all sorts of games. I could go on and on and on. Duck Hunt. I mean, we all remember Duck Hunt.
Duck Hunt's one of the best.
Right. So that's what everybody remembers with Nintendo. So if you've ever gone to like a retro game store or anything like that, you've got two things here. You've got a sealed copy of games.
Right.
Sealed copy are it's the rarest.
Never been opened.
Right.
Right.
Or you have completed copies of video games. For example, if you get Legend of Zelda completed, it's worth more.
Yeah.
And especially if it was a gold cartridge.
The gold cartridges,
But
yeah.
there's been instances where there's a sealed, complete gold cartridge sort of deal, but then there's one holy grail of the video games. That's Kid Icarus. And a lot of people probably don't know what Kid Icarus is, but say if you're a Super Smash Brothers player or anything like that, there's a character named Pit, and that's where he comes from, is Kid Icarus.
We should have pulled out your little figure of him.
Yeah, we should have. So, a rare sealed copy that's from 1987, Kid Icarus, is being sold for $9,000 after being found in the attic of the seller's childhood home in Nevada. So Scott Amos said he found this sealed copy of Kid Icarus, and it's apparently a forgotten Christmas or birthday gift in the attic of his mother's home in Reno. The game, which was originally purchased for $38.45, including tax, is one of the more rare games to find in sealed condition, Heritage Auctions said. So Heritage Auctions is a reputable
They're the ones
source.
who bought it.
And the auction house listed Amos' discovery online, where it sold for $9,000. And Amos said he's planning to split the proceeds with his sister and take a family trip to Disney World.
Very cool.
With it. So, but if you've got a sealed copy of any Nintendo game,
Yeah.
I don't care what it is, you need to check it out really
See how
quick.
much it's worth.
I mean, for sure. And that stuff's making a comeback. It is, but it's like, as they're making a comeback, the worth of those things are becoming more and more and more.
Yeah. Because people are looking for them.
People want them. I
They're
mean,
in search
it's just
of them.
the thing.
So are there any presents at the house that are hidden away that we've forgotten about?
I don't know. You need to figure that out, because I would love to know. So,
or worse yet, you have stuff hidden away. You don't mean to hide it. You don't mean to hide it away. It just gets hidden away, put back on a back shelf,
and forgotten.
And then, like a year or two later, you buy another one because you need that.
Yeah.
And then you find the old one.
You find the old one and go, wait a minute, I thought, no wonder I feel so familiar with this thing.
Yep. And
happens
that's exactly
all the
right.
time.
Well, and see, that's what's crazy is like, to go into things that are worth stuff. I mean, you've got your trading cards, you've got your video games. I don't know.
Anything is worth something.
Figures. I mean, there's figures that are worth a lot.
I have something that you don't even know I have.
Okay, what is it? I want to know.
I bought this a long time ago, 1967 time ago, and it was iron-on patches. Back before they don't still do iron-ons, do you? Can you get iron-ons in boxes of cereal, stuff like that? I ordered it, I think, from a box of cereal, but it's the entire original TV series Star Trek lapel logo iron-on sheet.
You need to check that out.
And I've had somebody tell me, dude, you probably ought to try to sell that because it's probably worth a mint.
Oh,
you want to check it out. And that's the thing. Like, you could find that stuff. But here's the craziest thing. If it's truly worth something, they're hard to find. And if you can't find it, then that's a pretty good sign, really.
Yeah.
So anyway, we may have...
It's just hard to price.
We may this may be our last podcast due to the fact that we don't have to do anything anymore for now. It won't be, but... there's treasures all over the place. It's the whole thing of what's somebody else willing to pay for your old junk.
I've started not recently. I've been into the trading card deal. Let's say specifically like Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff like that. I can say at 26 years old without being embarrassed that I can still collect those cards, and it is what it is.
Everybody else
right?
your age grew up doing it. Why not?
Yeah. So, but I've got everybody's. Again, we'll talk the holy grail of card is the original Shadowless base set Charizard that everybody wanted.
Now you went really deep, didn't you?
Yeah, oh yeah.
She's rolling her eyes.
Yeah.
But those things sell for, I've seen $15,000, $16,000.
Really?
There's a Magic card that sells for, I can't even remember how much the last time I want to say it's in the 40s or 50,000s. It's just nuts.
Well, even like pop figures, which we keep back here behind us if you're watching on YouTube a lot of the time. Some of them go for a lot of money because they don't reprint them.
And
they don't make them continuously.
I've got quite a few rare ones, actually. I previously had worked at a game store, and I that's a bad thing if you work at a game store, by the way, whether it be GameStop, whatever.
So you two have all these figures, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
How many would you say you have?
Brandon has a lot more than me.
Oh,
Let me tell you, it's 3.5 shelves worth in my closet. That's where they're at.
Well,
look, we
need to
my closet.
We're waiting to
what?
Either find a bookshelf to put all them on or something. And in this apartment, it's hard to.
You have to find a storage building to put that many on there.
It's pretty. I'm proud of
what
my
are
collection.
Those that you have a lot of.
I have Amiibos.
Amiibos is what they're called. Yeah.
And they were made for the Wii U, actually the Nintendo Wii U.
Yeah.
And anything Nintendo makes, let's just set this straight. Anything Nintendo makes is up here compared
High
to like
quality.
Sony or Microsoft. I mean, I'm sorry, I love my Xbox and I love my PlayStation, but
Nintendo
Nintendo's got it
does better.
down for collectibles.
Yeah.
And the Amiibo specifically, there was ones that came out that like a silver Mario or a gold Mario.
Well,
and
you
I've
have
got,
the Pit one, don't you?
Yeah.
That one's pretty rare.
I've got that Pit one, the Kid Icarus one that we were talking about. I've got a figure of his that was like it was dark Pit is what it's called, and so it's a darker version of him or whatever. But that they only made so many thousand.
You remember that short time during the craze of Michael Jordan movie?
Oh,
Bugs
Space
Bunny.
Jam.
Yeah, Space Jam
Yeah.
era. You started collecting some basketball cards back then. You remember that?
I do.
There's a Shaquille O'Neal card in there. I was
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, this thing's going to be in Shaq. It's like one of his first cards. And I looked, it's like $3.25.
Yeah, see, there's some of those that you
Dude,
think are going to
really?
be
you
big hits,
think
and they
should
aren't.
be a lot of money, and they're not.
Yeah. I think the most I own a pretty rare card with a mistake on it. Actually,
Mistake
from the
cards
Yu-Gi-Oh
go for a
collection.
lot.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you really can't find them anywhere. But the last one I saw sell, it was for around 8. I want to say it was, but that's if I haven't got it. There's a thing that you can send it off to called PSA graded, and you can get it graded. You can get up to 10, like a 10 out of 10, which is mint condition. I'm sure mine's a good 8, 7 or 8.
Yeah.
It hasn't been played really, so
My problem,
I
I
don't know.
keep the stuff that's not worth anything.
yeah.
That's what happens to me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can I go off camera for a second? Not off the podcast, but I got to go out of the camera to get this thing laying.
Yes, you can.
Literally right off the
Yeah.
camera.
You literally
It's
can.
literally right
Yeah.
here. So I can take the mic with me though.
Yeah, you can take that. This is the joy of.
So if
Having
you're on
mics.
the YouTube, you need to check this out because this is actually kind of cool. I've had this since I was in, I think, junior high, and this was my grandfather's college. What is this? Clarinet,
losing.
and as you can
Clarinet,
tell,
Yeah.
it's not made out of plastic.
No.
Right.
It's
I remember
actually
it.
silver.
Well, when you got that thing, I remember
And-
you polished it.
Yeah, well, I could do it here, and this is going to be gross,
No,
but
dude.
you can polish it, and it turns pretty silver just by rubbing your hand on it.
Yeah, because that's what
And-
originally they were. They're not made out of that anymore.
No,
that's the
it's-
thing. Like they don't. You
it's
can't see
plastic.
that. It's all
They,
plastic.
They didn't make them this. They only made them long time ago. So you would think this is actually from about 1913.
wow.
Seriously, and it still
Dang.
plays. If it had a reed in it, it will play, but it sounds like a squawky goose because
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's
Well,
no.
you get. Well, here's the thing.
the
No
timbre in
offense
it.
here, but you give it to the right player.
No.
I'm sure it sounds.
No, because it's made out of metal. It's not going to be.
It doesn't
it's-
have the right.
the resonation.
Yeah.
I don't know how to
timbre or
call
whatever
that.
it's called.
Yeah.
So anyway, this was my grandfather's, your great-grandfather's clarinet. Kept it in the family forever. My grandma gave this to me when I was in like junior high, and so I kept it. It's in our production studio still right here. And I thought one of these days it's going to be worth a lot.
Yeah.
For one thing, it was
You never know.
here regionally in
Well, look, it's got the for when you're marching.
Well, and I've got the
Yeah.
the music holder.
The music holder.
It is
When you're
actually a
marching.
marching clarinet, and
Band nerd here.
well, it's okay. They called them the lightning rod, believe it or not,
Yeah.
years ago.
It
So
makes
anyway,
sense.
this thing was purchased way back in the early 1900s in Enid, Oklahoma, and my grandfather played in the very first Enid band.
Yeah.
And for anybody
Nice.
around central United States, you're going to be familiar with the Tri-State Music Festival that
Yeah.
people came to
Yeah,
from
that's
all
a-
around the middle
It's still a
plain
big
states.
Mm-hmm.
My grandfather played for the guy that created the Tri-State Music Festival, and he was actually in college when they had the very first music festival.
Wow.
Nice.
And so I'm thinking this has got to be worth a lot. It was here before all this history. I saw one on sale for $3.50 the other day.
Oh no! Really?
Yeah, $3.50. So I don't understand what makes stuff
It's
rare.
hard to tell. Because
Well,
like,
here's the few things that, and I've looked it up before. I've talked to collectors because again, I was into the card thing for when I was
you still are in
late
card
teenager. I was really into it and talked
Yeah.
to a few people. Here's the thing that makes something rare. First and foremost, is how much something's willing to pay for it.
Yeah.
How much somebody is willing to pay for it really kind of sets the bar. But here's the other things that really kind of make it: how much were produced.
That's
How many
true.
of these
Yeah.
were produced?
Yeah.
How easily they are to obtain and
Yeah.
find, and the condition.
Well, actually,
I mean,
to
really.
be honest, I saw it in an antique shop.
Yeah.
Now, just because that antique shop was selling
Right.
it for
Yeah.
$3.25.
And see, that's the
it may be
other
that I should
beauty
go
of
buy
it.
that thing for $3.25.
Right.
Yeah.
The other beauty of that is exactly how you explain it. It's all about how much the person's selling it for. If you get online and look it up, because specifically this one, it is in great condition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's nuts to me.
It's
is
still
that,
got the pads on it and everything.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It really. I think somebody somewhere, a collector,
A music collector, somebody
would really
that
pay a
likes
lot for
that
that.
kind of stuff.
I
really
think
do.
so too, but I'm never selling.
But,
Don't try to break into
yeah.
my house to get it because I don't
I
think
don't-
it's really worth much.
I don't either. And
it's-
something.
yeah.
Here's the other thing:
Yeah.
is the nostalgia of it, the way
Yeah.
that the
Sentimental
feeling.
value. Yeah.
And so, yeah, there's some of those like those Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Like I'll tell you, I've got cards
my
from
God.
whenever from the anime
have so many
when I used
cards.
to watch it,
Yeah.
and I have an original, like, okay, if anybody knows, a nerd alert, I don't care. Yugi,
Oh,
the protagonist in the show, had his Dark Magician, his go-to. God, I sound like a nerd here. I don't even care.
You are
We
a
went
nerd.
way
But I've
past
got that-
beyond us.
I've got that original deck of his and the Dark Magician, and people pay a lot for that, and I just don't want to get rid of it
I
because
gotcha.
it's just and it's in okay condition. It's not like the best because I was a kid. I
Yeah.
played.
Some of your
played with
cards
it.
are in not the best shape.
And but then there's others. Like I acquired another one. The other, I guess, main villain had his card, and I acquired a Blue Eyes White Dragon that was in very
Yeah.
mint condition from back then. And so I kind of want to get that one
Yeah.
PSA graded. And so I don't know. I'd like to know what everybody that's listening to this right now has in their collections.
Yeah. What
I'm
do you like to
curious.
collect?
That would
I've
be cool.
always been
Yeah.
curious about this. So if you are on a podcast, obviously you can't really comment on the podcast. So two things. Number one, go to our YouTube. Please do. First
Yeah.
of all, because our After the Podcast is about to come up, and
Yeah.
you're
Got
going to
the
want to hear it.
Facebook.
We've got Facebook, we've got Instagram. Go to any of those, or you can email us as well, sunnysideuppodcast at storiesandscoopsmedia.com. We say it a lot. It'll be linked down in the YouTube description specifically. Please go to those and tell me, what collections do you have? What's your
Yeah, tell
coolest
us about it.
collector's item that
You can-
either is worth money or not even?
You
I
can
wanna
also
know.
use your Google Play and your Alexis
Yeah.
to find this too.
Yes,
We're
you
available
can.
on all that.
That's pretty
So,
neat.
yeah.
I like
But you
got
got to be careful. There are a few sunny side ups out there. So look for the one that has
But this is the one you
daisy,
want.
the
This
flower.
logo.
And
We got
and
the
we
same
know
logo.
that we know that the word side is backwards. We did that on purpose. So it's not like we became
Yeah.
weird or something. But it either goes by Sunny Side Up Podcast. There's Sunny Side Up Podcast with Alan Klepper. There's Sunny Side Up with Alan Klepper.
Yeah.
So
So just look it up that way, and you will find it.
you could drop my name in there, I think, on any of it, and it would get you down the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well,
on the
this
what?
is it's been a good episode.
It's been a great
It's been a
episode.
great episode. So we're gonna wrap this up.
We are?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So
I-
we're going to.
I wasn't done yet.
You're not done yet. Do you have one more thing?
No, not really.
Oh, okay, well,
but
oh, yeah.
again, coming up next week, Malin Jarman, the winner of The Voice, the latest winner of The Voice. I had a chance to sit down and talk to her, and I want to share that conversation
Let's
on
do
the
it.
podcast.
Our very
so we'll
first.
do that.
Well, our very first guest is coming up, and then our very first star really
Yeah.
is coming up.
So I ran into somebody this week. You may know them from La La Land. Thad and Trent Luckenbill.
Oh, wow,
Producers,
yes.
directors,
Yes.
Nice.
and Thad is the
Luckenbills are
star.
big around here.
He's the
Yeah.
star
Love it.
of Young and the Restless. I can't remember the character's name, but he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
Was it Young and the Restless? Yeah. No.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm asking you. I can't remember. Anyway, he plays a bad guy in that soap opera, and we're going to see if we can get a hold of them, see what they're up to.
I think that's
too.
going to
So
be great.
We're
I
going to
think
have
it'll be cool,
fun.
though.
Sunny Side Up podcast for our friends that have been listening to it. Our friends and family members have just been blowing it up, which has
Yeah.
been cool.
Sure.
But I want everybody to know this is like certainly a national show, and hopefully at some point an international show, because we really do just want to
Yeah.
have fun and make people smile
Yeah.
and have a great time with it.
I agree.
And maybe
Yeah.
someday that Sunny Side Up logo behind us will be worth millions of dollars.
Can be in an LED form too. Maybe we get a huge studio.
That'd be
No,
cool.
I'm just saying the original
Yeah.
version. See, that's
This
the
is
original.
the original.
Yeah, the-
Right
First
there is
ever.
the original sketch.
Well,
So,
coming
I
up
don't know.
on the after the podcast show here on Sunny Side Up, we have Destiny Angel's sister. Specifically, we want to talk about a disease that has kind of been affecting her recently. that we want to kind of talk about. So coming up, we're going to kick you out of the room. So
Fine.
you're out of here. So,
Fine.
But it'll be me, Angel, and Destiny, and our very first guest. So please join us if you're on just a podcast app.
Yep.
Please join us on our YouTube for this very first guest on our After the Podcast show. Contact us, sunnysideuppodcast at storiesandscoopsmedia.com. Link is going to be in the description in the YouTube video specifically. Contact us on Instagram and YouTube. Instagram is Sunny Side Up Podcast. Facebook is just Sunny Side Up.
Yeah.
Look for that logo.
Yep. Same logo everywhere.
It's everywhere. So, and
Angel, thanks for hanging again. Appreciate you. Brandon, thank you so much.
Yes.
And I'll see you next week.
All right.
Have a great and blessed week. Talk to you later.
See ya.
Bye.
Welcome to After the Podcast, episode 5. Yeah, I switched places. What about it? So, well, we have a special guest, our very first guest here on Sunny Side Up, and thank you to everybody who came over from all the rest of the podcasting apps, just audio to the YouTube to see this. Anyways, welcome Destiny. She is Angel's sister, obviously, as we've said before. We wanted to bring her in today to talk about I guess some not so fun stuff. I wouldn't call it the most fun that we've had here on Sunny Side Up. But it's something that's real. And so, we want to be as transparent as we can be and share it with everybody that is here with us.
And just raise some awareness about it.
Yeah. So, either one of you can, I don't want to take the stuff away. So, do you want to explain it?
You want to talk a little bit about Destiny?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. Let's talk about it.
And it's her first time ever being on something like this, so I'm sure the nervousness is there. But that happened. Hey, it happened with Angel, so she's getting great at it now. So, but just kind of tell us a little bit about what's going on. What we're here for. So.
Well, where do I start?
Just talk about what it is, the disease is.
Okay, so I have been diagnosed with VHL, which is von Hippel-Lindau, and basically, so you have all your chromosomes, and you have a VHL chromosome, and the VHL chromosome is to help regulate oxygen in your blood when you change altitudes.
Yes.
And when you get diagnosed with this disease, it's overworking. So it's doing...
Her body thinks it's at a higher altitude, and she changing altitude rapidly.
It causes tumors to grow on, all of my main organs whenever it feels like it, basically. And so we've been going to the doctors a lot, and it all started with my pancreas because we were having stomach problems. And so we did some scans. We found cysts on my pancreas, which they were really confused as to how they got there and
because of your age,
and why they're growing there, and it's
everything else was fine at that point.
So I was seeing this doctor, and we were going back every 6 months just to have a checkup, and the one time we got an MRI, he had noticed that there was a tumor growing on my spine. So they sent me to all these other doctors.
A million other specialists.
And then we did more scans, and then they found a couple tumors on my brain. But they said those ones are, extremely small.
They're really small, so they're not too worried about them.
They just want to monitor them for now. But the one on my spine was causing fluid to, build up, which isn't good, because that could, lead to,
paralysis.
Yeah, paralysis or permanent numbness, which you don't want. So I had to get surgery, and I got surgery not that long ago, the 30th. I went in for surgery.
Last month.
Yeah.
Yeah, that, I gotta say that the people at the OU Children's Medical Center, seems like that
really great.
Things really went well there, as good as they could have. And we got to tell everybody that the surgery went very well. I mean,
there were some issues. The tumor was bigger than they thought it was. The doctor thought it originally was. So she was under almost all day long.
Yeah,
she was
5 hours.
in surgery for 5 hours, which Mom and Dad were freaking out because they didn't know what was happening. They were letting them know, like, they were updating him, but, like, they're not in there, they don't know. So it took them a long time, and it started to wrap around her spine. So they had to cut off a piece of her bone so they could get it out properly. But it's all gone now.
Yeah.
So there's no more tumor on her spine. She just has a nice scar on her back.
It's pretty cool. It's a neat scar, though.
Yeah.
To make a good, like, you know, a good story you could tell somebody.
Yeah.
Hey, look at this. I got bit by a shark or something.
No, she said she's going to tell her grandkids that,
No, my kids.
your kids,
and
your
grandkids.
kids and grandkids, that it's from the Area 51 raid, because that's going on right now.
I said that the aliens
The aliens that got out of Area 51.
abducted me. They were trying to harvest my organs, and
Yeah.
I survived, and that's how the scar got.
Oh, that's perfect.
That's
is
what
so
she's
good.
doing.
Oh, see, that's
That's
what
my
it
story.
is. Making light of a situation, and you know, so it's something, you know, that's not. It's going to keep going on.
Yeah.
VHL doesn't just go away, but obviously they're monitoring the situation.
Yeah, she
So
goes
it's as
in.
good as it could be, which is great. So, and you know, it's just one of those deals that again, it's a real life situation. We wanted to share it on the Sunny Side Up podcast, and so, you know, you're hearing it here.
Well, it's a rare thing, so not a lot of people know about it, but
Yeah.
of course, Destiny had to get a rare disease.
Gosh dang it, leave it to destiny. But yeah, so anyway, you know, look up the disease, take a look at it, and obviously on our social media, you know, I feel like we should start sharing some more of those things going on.
Yeah.
And keeping everybody updated, you know, just so everybody's aware of what's going on, listen to this show and care about what's going on.
Yep.
And we'd love to share it with you. So, but yeah.
Well, and everybody, especially our mom, she was really blown away about all the support that was coming from everybody that was sending prayers, and Mom was really, really thankful for that. So,
And you know, we'll and since this is specifically Sunny Side Up, so just to raise awareness, we're going to put a link on the channel in the description below, and so people
there's a
can
VHL Alliance,
be aware, you know.
which is on my Facebook page,
Yeah, and we'll
which we
share
can
that.
post about. They have a lot of really great information, and if you feel like you want to donate to help find a cure for VHL, it's there.
Yeah.
And they're also, since it is something that has to do with tumors, they help to find cures for cancer as well. So,
Yep. So just to make everybody, you know, kind of educated on the situation, and you know, just kind of help out a little bit, you know, for things that go on in life, because life isn't always sunny side up. But we'll link it down below.
Yeah.
But hey, more light of a situation here. Now that we've got you on here, so let's do this. Video games. We talk about video games on here a lot, and we talk about therapy cows. So you having this, I know that they have therapy
cows.
You've listened to the episodes. We got therapy cows, and would you be interested in a Sunny Side Up therapy cow to help you along your day? That seems like a legitimate, you know.
She just wants any kind of therapy animal.
Any animal.
Any animal, and
That's the only thing she keeps asking Mom for is a dog.
Yeah.
That's what
A
she
dog.
wants.
I want a dog.
But well, okay. So video games. We talked about the sealed copy of Kid Icarus that was going on. As Dad sits back here and our behind the studios guy now. We've downgraded him, so that's where he goes to now. But video. I mean, are you big into video games? Because I don't really remember. I mean, I know it's only been 4 years and that I've been around the family, and I mean, I know you like video games a little bit. What specifically? What is your favorite type of video game, or your favorite video game for that matter?
Well, the only one I've been playing is The Last of Us.
She loves
solid
us.
choice. That's
I
a
love
solid
that
choice.
game.
You know what? You just went up in my books. You went up in my books big time. Last of Us 2 is actually going to come out soon. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah, it's coming out soon.
I'll have to see
So, you're going to have to. I mean, it's a given. That's probably the best. Like, it's a PlayStation only exclusive. And so I'm going to tell you this. So I literally, when I worked at that game store like I talked about earlier, I literally bought a PlayStation for that game and one other game that was exclusive to PlayStation. And worth it. Totally worth it. If you haven't played The Last of Us, you need to. That's a good story. It's like a movie.
There is another game that Destiny used to play a lot when she was younger. It's a cooking game for the Nintendo DS, and it's a Jamie Oliver cooking
Jamie
game.
Oliver cooking.
She used to play that game
Called
every single day.
Jamie Oliver.
She played that game so much. In this weird fashion game, I don't know what it was called, but
Yeah, I don't know what it was called either. I think it was like, I don't know.
Well,
like
it makes
fashion
me
designer.
it makes me wonder what is going to be worth stuff, worth money.
yeah.
Whenever you grow older, and the stuff that you used to do, video games, whether it be video games, whether it be things you collected. What's kind of I knew back, for example, we talked about it earlier, like the biggest trading card that everybody wanted was the Charizard from the very first base. Is there something like that you had for your generation? Something like everybody wanted card-wise or video game-wise, or is that just kind of a 90s thing?
Her generation just collected jewel pods.
Not me.
Yeah, well, that's a good thing. But I don't know. That's weird how it kind of was just I don't know.
Yeah,
Is there a big collection thing?
I mean, everybody needs the newest phone.
Yeah, I think that's
now.
the big thing is everybody keeps trying to get the newest.
I don't know if I see those becoming worth money, though. And because it was so useless, it's not really a collectibles.
Destiny collects a lot of things.
Right.
Destiny is a collector of everything.
Yeah.
I mean, Pop Figures kind of came out. Pop Figures kind of came out in your time.
But they're not popular in her generation, more so with mine and yours.
It's true, because they kind of geared it for us. But,
Destiny collects a lot of supernatural stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of supernatural stuff.
So, I mean, maybe those will be worth something someday. You never know.
I'm not getting rid of them.
She does have some supernatural
That's
pop
the way
figures.
I feel about it. Yeah.
Still in the box.
I'm keeping them.
That's what I do with all mine. I just keep mine in the box. I've got.
I don't want to take them out of the box.
I think for an episode, I need to just take all the figures that I have and just throw at least as many as I can and fill it on the desk.
There's so many.
Just to see what we can do. And I got Dad one. I mean, it's been on the episode.
Yeah, it was on our first episode.
So Back to the Future. That was, Back to the Future is. I like it myself. It's a good show. So I don't know. The pop figures I think is geared for everybody. They're really cool.
They do a lot. I think it especially is geared towards us because they do a lot of things that are nostalgic for our generations.
Yeah.
They do a lot of new things, but they just came out with Friends pop figures. That's geared towards us.
Yeah. Well, and honestly, Mom and Dad used to watch Friends.
Yeah.
They probably that's cool. I'd get a figure.
They just came out with The Office pop figures, which I would like.
Really?
Yes.
I really just would like for The Office to come back with the original cast. And I've seen people say it wouldn't survive in today's society,
I don't think it would.
I think it would do just fine. I really do, because it's such a humorous, if you've got that type of humor, that doesn't go away.
I miss The Office so much.
It just doesn't go away. It has nothing to do with anything offensive or anything like that. It's if you've got that sense of humor, then you're going to understand it.
And I miss Friends.
And I feel like people didn't understand it even back when it was out. Some people got it and some people didn't. I've talked to Mom and Dad. I talked to Grandma and Grandpa. They just were kind of but then us, we love it because we have that sense of humor. And I still think it would be that way.
Yeah.
So I would feel like it would be really work great for it to come back. But I know it'll never happen, but it's okay. At least they have
What's your favorite TV show, Destiny, besides Supernatural? Because we already know about that one.
Dead silence. That's her.
She doesn't know. Supernatural's all time for her.
That's all right.
Vampire Diaries.
Oh, yeah. You really like
vampires. What's up with the vampires and stuff?
What do you mean
demonic
stuff?
things.
It's
we
just
love those TV
interesting
shows
to watch, and it's keeps you on the edge of your seat.
What's your feelings about the one Twilight? That's the name of it. Do you love it?
I don't love it.
That was more my
I
generation.
mean, I like it, but
that came out when I was in middle school.
Okay.
It was more of a my generation thing.
All right, fine. Well, anyways. But, hey, Destiny, thank you for coming on here. And I promise you guys we'll see her again soon. We need to get her on an actual podcast. So, again, the link down below for VHL, sort of an awareness deal, will be down there. We'll make sure to have that in there. And thank you to everybody who came here from the audio podcast and found us. If you aren't subscribed, please do that.
Make sure you give us a like on this video.
Because, it's there's some things we do on our YouTube that you won't see on those audio podcasts. Not discouraging you to keep on those audio podcasts because they're really great for when you're driving. I know from experience they're awesome.
Just roll over and watch our After the Podcast here.
When you have a chance, just roll it over and go to our YouTube and skip forward to the After the Podcast. We make sure that we edit it in where our After the Podcast is at, and so that you can see it. And so, what are you doing? We have downgraded him.
We need a bigger table.
Yeah.
Please give now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just saying.
We need a bigger
I'll
table.
go way out.
Yeah, and there's honestly the room back here is a little not
we're a little crammed in.
So, but we'll figure it out because we need to get some guests on here and be able to have up to 4 people. We're figuring it out. We'll get it figured out and we'll get there. So, anyways, thank you for joining us for After the Podcast here on Sunny Side Up. Find us at Sunny Side Up Podcast at storiesandscoopsmedia.com. Also, our Instagram, Sunny Side Up Podcast, our Facebook, Sunny Side Up. It's all got that logo right there behind us.
And it'll be linked below and everything.
Yep, link below for everything that we talked about during this After the Podcast as well. So until next week, I guess we will see everybody for episode 6 coming up next Thursday. So see you guys.